All right, this is gonna be a quick one, but here's my first actual pretty big quality issue with the RS660. So I'm changing the oil, and this is where the oil filter screws on. I was getting a tiny leak in between here, in between this piece and the engine block, and I'm guessing there's a little gasket in here. Now, it wasn't bad. It was just a few drops. I'll put a picture here of what the belly pan looked like. It was just a few drops here and there, and sometimes it wasn't leaking at all. But once you, that's blurry, once you take the filter off, you can see this nut, which has some little tabs in there to lock it on. So this nut is supposed to be 20 foot-pounds to hold this hold this manifold onto the engine block and squeeze that gasket. This nut was not tight. So I noticed when I was taking the oil filter off that I was able to move this whole thing a tiny bit and rotate it just a little bit, and I was like, it doesn't seem right. So I checked the torque specs, and like I said, this nut was not tight at all, so I gave that a little honk. Torqued it to spec. We'll put a new filter on here. We'll put a new filter on, see what happens, but that's pretty bad. I don't think you would get that problem on a Suzuki or a Yamaha. The Italian guy who was assembling the bike must have forgotten his espresso or a cigarette that day or something, but yeah. So if your bike's leaking a little bit, check that nut. It's a 30 millimeter nut, and it's supposed to be 20 foot-pounds, so that's all I got to say about that.